triumph in the trap.
This is for the dollar.
Do you believe in miracles?
Ay, I play chess, but only in 4D. I'm by myself, but they think I'm 4D. When they see me online, they think they know me. Go ahead, like and subscribe, you gotta show me. I applied pressure and they tried to reject it. Clearly ain't see I was a diamond, so they didn't accept it. Told me I was a failure, so I said F it. Might even start my own school and teach them a lesson. Yeah, I'ma call it self-harming. Fly down south and get the south poppin'. One day I'ma give you a walkthrough and introduce you to this warp tool. I know you lost, that's just dynasty talk. Cause you can't start no franchise without no dynasty chart. I took a break from the game, nicked on my dynasty stock. Till I came back like Wembanyama, I feel like Coach Pop. I can't say that I'm the GOAT, cause you ain't gonna agree. But if I own my own farm, I can make the GOAT. Me, the ladies love the beard and they used to love the goatee. That's when I was a lamb, burning music on CDs. I wasn't born in 88, December 87, that was 16 days away. Might fly to Dallas, why not? I just got paid today. When I land this dirt statue, I came to fade away. Check the timeline for the stories and the play-by-play. My life a Patreon link, you gotta pay to play. I work 16 hours, boy, that's an 8 and 8. X Factor like Dez Bryant, my boy 88. Why dream light when you living like a heavyweight? This ain't a 1 week thing, we grind like every day. They know my destination, Devi, like I hang with Ray. If they ain't know my name, I bet they know my name today. Treat this mic like an ATM, let's make a trade today. Drop this on Fizzle Friday, cause that's my favorite day. And I'm gonna do it my way, cause that's my favorite way. They tried to put me on the shelf like I'm layaway. Told me it ain't no way, so I made a way. Welcome to South Harmon, I'm glad you here today. Welcome to South Harmon, I'm glad you here today. Welcome to South Harmon, I'm glad you here today. Hit that Patreon link if you here to stay, Treat this mic like an ATM, let's make a trade today.
Welcome, everybody, to America's Game, episode number 6. And it's us again, the three amigos, back again, man. Adam, Mike, myself.
Yes, sir.
Back once again after our roster, our depth chart construction that me and Scott did last week. Seems like it was a pretty big hit. Everybody liked it. Got a lot of good feedback from that, so excited that you guys liked that. But this week, gonna kind of be just a kind of a chill show. By the time you guys are listening to this, it'll be Thursday. It's game day. Lions and Chiefs coming on tonight. Hopefully Travis Kelce plays. We had all that BS, so won't know officially until Thursday, but hopefully he plays. But no, I'm excited to be back, guys. How are you guys doing?
Oh, buddy, I'm doing so good. You guys absolutely killed it last episode. You and Scott, the whole deep dive roster construction. Adam and I were joking about it on the MA. That's a 3-drive to and from work episode, right? Even
on 1.5x, you know, right? Like there's no speed where you get through that in one.
Listen, and for anybody out there who's still doing, one times, listen, I don't judge you. I don't judge you at all. All I got to say is listen to that fizzle intro on 1.5. At least listen to the intro. Brandon over at Destination Devi kind of opened my eyes to this. The 1.5 fizzle intro. Oh man, that thing slaps. Not that the fizzle intro doesn't slap on 1 times, but 1.5, it's a different animal. So last week's episode, you and Sky Connor, fucking fantastic. And the best part is the intro's so long. The fizzle intro so long, I get to say fuck right off the bat, which is fucking incredible, right? I don't hit any of those YouTube things. I can just say fuck, fuckity, fuck.
There we go. There we go. We're trying to find, will YouTube algorithm find us after 3 minutes right there. I will say though, like your show, the deep dive, I think that's one of the things, not to one-dimensionally, you do a lot of good things, but that's one of the things that I think makes your show so different and dynamic than the rest is that type of deep dive in that type of time, that's to go through a 2.5+ hour episode to where you can captivate and still give and deliver value to the audience is rare and hard to find. And that's one of the things that I value, not just about you, but about the show that you do here. So appreciate being a guest on. From what I understand, it's going to be a lot shorter show for what Mike's, already putting out there. And we've been doing 3 shows. Hopefully it's not too long of a show. We'll give you everything we got, but let's talk about it, Eric. What are we talking about today?
Yeah, I just got a couple quick things I wanted to talk about, but no, I appreciate what you guys said, man. That's doing that show every year with Scott is definitely one of my favorite times. We like diving into all those deep guys. And, if you listen to a lot of other podcasts like most of us do, you can only hear about the top players. I can only hear about Saquon Barkley and Austin Eckler and Nick Chubb and whoever else so many times. Like, there's not another podcast out there that really dives into Salvin Ahmed and Myles Gaskin and Amari DiMercado and people like that. Like, there's just not a lot that do that. So, and I forget which podcast it was a long time ago. Scott would know. But they did like a deep dive into like every single division, every team, just like that kind of thing. And it was like 2.5 hour podcast like that. And those podcasts were gold. So, I kind of try to replicate that same thing and do it our style. So yeah, no, I've been enjoying that, man. So,
I love the fact that we've been doing so much content tonight. Adam had to go back to his fucking booze cabinet. If you're watching on YouTube,
can I just,
you can't see this on podcast form.
Can I give you the YouTube? Hold on.
Listen, this motherfucker just got up and left.
I want y'all to see and understand what I did. There's nothing here. There's 3 bottles down here that are all empty, and I'm like, all right, I guess I have to do this on video. I got to go back, and the nice thing is the bar's right there now, but the bad thing is, it's drinking season, buddy. NFL's here. Time to get that liver in check, buddy. You talk about conditioning, like you see Travis Hunter, right? That man is out here just, the conditioning is ill. The people can't hardly play one side of the ball. He's doing 2 at a vengeance. Understand, this bar behind me, you can't see, it's about to be empty. We're in full content season, buddy.
The nerve of this guy. Play like a champ, right? No excuses.
Yeah. No such thing, buddy. It's America's game. Got to have a drink.
Well, speaking of, since you brought up Travis Hunter, I was going to talk about college football, so we might as well hit that up first. What did you guys think of week 1? What was your big standouts or anything?
I mean, Colorado, you cannot talk about week 1 without Colorado. I mean,
absolutely.
I think, all right, let me just tell you from what I hear from a lot of different spots. And it's funny how, to me, okay, so there's a lot of just hate on Prime, right? And it's more so like the brashness, the flamboyance. But the truth is, this is how he's been. It's how he's played. It's how he's been his entire time. And it's like, okay, this team has been getting a lot of hate, and it's not going to work out. The over-under set at criminally low numbers. And then they go out, and they have one of their toughest games on the road. Shedeur plays awesome. The team plays awesome. They win the game in a tight ball game. So it's not just like, hey, you hung with these guys. You end up winning down the stretch. And then people are surprised, like, what do you know about Deion? Of course he's going to be up there talking his smack. And of course he's going to do that. That's what he's going to do when they lose. That's what he's going to do always. So you think in the moment where he's at his biggest stage right now as a coach, he's not going to go Deion on it. But I think from that was just the take that was surprising to me. Like, people are not liking his response. What did you expect him to do? Yeah. But the second thing is to see, okay, Travis Hunter in a game like that plays so well, to see Shedeur, no turnovers. I mean, people are wondering, like, is he going to 510 yards, 4 touchdowns, no turnovers? Like, that is something I don't think people even would have considered in the realm of possibility, right? Like, when we talk about doing range of outcomes, no one would have even said that was possible.
4 guys caught over 100 yards.
Right. It wasn't just Travis Hunter on offense, by the way. That's another big point.
Yeah, they had 4 guys catch over 100 yards each. So that's you don't even see that in the NFL or even college games, really, for the most part. You hardly ever see that. So yeah, that was pretty impressive. And then another thing people don't bring up, that's TCU. They were in the national fucking championship game last year.
Well, the other thing too is, so that's TCU, right? But think about it this way, at least for me. People are like, oh, well, he's not going to play that way the whole time. Okay, maybe. But they're playing against the Pac-12. Like, how many defenses in the Pac-12 or on their scheduled period, you're like, oh man, that's trouble. That's not going to be good for them.
Yeah,
a handful, if any. So if he's playing that way week 1 on the road, why when they start to get more chemistry, are people wondering like he's going to suck? I mean, yeah, of course it's college and guys will have up and down weeks, but I think people need to take what happened in week 1 more serious on a bigger view of what they're going to have with the Pac-12, in my opinion.
Oh, you touched on a lot of things. I'm going to do some quick fires here for America's game. Number 1, I got to start off with my Iowa Hawkeyes. Despite the fact that the fucking offense looked fantastic in the scripted portion of the plays, which Brian Ferentz is fantastic at. If you're an Iowa Hawkeyes fan, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. The scripted portion, great. After that, he usually sucks. But the one thing that stood out to me, I was kind of big on Eric All, and I think Eric All will probably be a fine NFL tight end, but Luke Lachey is that fucking dude. Like, you wanted to know, Mike, who you're predicting to be the next Sam LaPorta, the next George Kittle, the next Noah Fant, the next TJ Hawkinson? Luke fucking Lachey. That's your dude. That's your dude to go get. Absolute fucking unit. And then me, I got to take a little victory lap. People hating on me for the Keon Coleman pick. Keon Coleman, 9 for 122 and 3 fucking touchdowns against a team that touts themselves as quote unquote DBU. DBU, they had no fucking answer for that man. So the last point I'll get on the quick hitters, if you're a dynasty squad and you're going, fuck, I need a quarterback next year. I need one of those quarterbacks. Like, I'm so stressed for quarterback. We knew Caleb Williams was great. We knew Drake May was great. The QB3, the QB4, the QB5 discussion has just blown the fucking doors off, man. Michael Penix had a great game. Jordan Travis, absolute fucking unit playing out there. Adam, your boy, Shedeur Sanders threw himself into that conversation. So the QB3, QB4, QB5, wide open, man. There's so many guys out there just balling out. Week 1 of college football, absolutely incredible and exciting. If you're one of those dynasty managers, maybe you don't need a tank to get Caleb. Maybe you might, be fine at pick 3, 5, 7.
Let me say 2 things. 1, Mike starting off with Iowa. 2, patting himself on the back is absolutely no surprise on America's Game or any show. Now 3, to this discussion. Let's get to America's Game. What the people want to know, not Iowa. But my question to you guys is now, because let's talk about it. Mike is doing a show on Campus to Canton with us, and Eric, you'll be on there at some point. I'll be on there at some point. Mike started off episode 1 great. We're doing a show on Campus to Canton, but my first Campus to Canton experience, where not us hosting them on a show of 4D or one of the both of them having me out there, they say, hey, let's do a mock draft. Okay, I'll do a mock draft. Gotcha. Now, you guys are C2C content creators, and you play in a bunch of leagues, so I'm assuming you're going to smash me, but I'm cool. It's a mock draft. So I get on there, I'm going to do a little 5-10 minute segment on their overall show. We'll get Adam on 4D Chess, kind of plug him. First pick, I can't remember who I took, but it was fine. It's obvious. Round 2, I take Shedeur Sanders, and I'm telling you, when you talk about the floodgates opening, it was the opposite of the parting of the Red Sea. It was coming right at me, and they killed me over Shedeur Sanders. You could have gotten him outside of this whole mock. You could have waited on him until the mock was over. All this stuff's not going to be good. So my question to you is, not to shot them as far as I don't think a lot of people were taking him as serious as the next level, as even producing in college consistently. If that's what he did as a passer, right? Considering the sacks, he was negative rushing, right? So that was all as a passer. My question to you is right now, range of outcomes still are very wide. I mean, that could end up being a fluke, but where do you put him in this mix of quarterbacks for college? Because here's my opinion that I want to give you preface on the question. The NFL is starting to chase more and more now the home run swing. It's like the evolution of baseball, right? Forget this. We're uppercutting on the bat. The batting averages may go down, but we're trying to swing for these home runs. That's what you're seeing at the quarterback position. So where does he currently land for you? Does this make him serious? Is this still... You got to wait and see for anything NFL side? Where are you guys at with Shedeur after 1 game?
I'm gonna say, I think conservatively, are you just talking about next year's class?
I'm talking about
Okay.
if he ended up being good enough to come out and go next year, and then if you're holding him, let's say in a C2C or a Devi, and even if he doesn't come out till the following year,
right? Conservatively, I'm going to say he's top 5 for me. And that's conservatively. I wouldn't be shocked if I could put him at 3 behind Caleb and Drake. Like, there's Quinn Ewers, there's Penix, Bo Nix. People put up there. I'm still not believing in Bo Nix, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a couple other I'm missing.
So you got him in
Travis.
the range of 3 to 6, right?
Yeah, somewhere in that range. But like you said, like, he's not Anthony Richardson, but he's like kind of got that big play, big star factor to him, kind of like Anthony Richardson does. Not comparing their play or anything like that. But man, if he hits like he could be that major home run swing. Like Quinn Ewers, I still got to see some more of him. Penix Jr.'s been in college since like 1927, I think.
Right. We're going on year 100 and something.
Right.
Soon.
So, sure, he's going to be great. He's like 29 years old. He's Brandon Weeden out there. Great player. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if Penix is one of the final 4 for the Heisman this year, going to New York for the Heisman ceremony. Wouldn't be shocked at all.
True.
But I think just the way that the NFL is trending right now, taking these home run swing type quarterbacks, like, I got to put Shedeur conservatively in the top 5.
Mike, any difference?
Yeah, I would say probably in top 5, top 6. Like, okay. I like what I've seen from him. We also kind of get this little bit of bias built in, right? Like, it's Deion Sanders' kid, and we think he's this big rushing quarterback, and he's never shown that. Like, even at Jackson State, he's never been this huge rushing quarterback, right? Like, he's kind of a pocket passer who's a little bit mobile, right?
Well, I think that's what's interesting about his game, at least for me, is there's this also stigma of, well, he's raw, so he's got to have rushing upside. Right. Now, I think he does, but I think what's interesting is I think America was, speaking of America's game, put on notice that the guy is ideally playing from the pocket. Now, I'm not saying he can't run, but I think that is something about Shedeur Sanders that people did not know that they got to get really hip to in week 1.
Right, and I think he showed out. Now, this I don't want to sound like a hater too, but it's a fucking Big 12 defense. Like, who? All right. I mean, come on.
Sure, of course.
We know historically they're fucking god awful, and
that's what they're going to play the rest of the year, and anytime he's there, right?
Listen, I'm all for him coming out and just shutting up the haters, and the same thing for Deion, like coming out and shutting up the haters. Like, I believed in this team and I believed in what Deion did, but
so you do believe?
Like, yeah, I don't want to go out there and act like it was they upset Alabama. Okay, it's fucking TCU, who I thought even last year, on their run, like, overrated as fuck, and then we saw them get blown the fuck out in the championship game. It was an absolute joke. Like, Big 12 teams historically, outside of Oklahoma or, Texas when they played Alabama last year, like, I don't really buy into that shit. That's kind of a shitty conference, to be honest, and not just because Iowa State plays in there and they're fucking god-awful. It's hate week, so I got to throw out an Iowa State reference. Fuck those guys. Psych clowns. But the Big 12, like, never really fucking does it for me, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Now, as Shedeur, like, plays some more competition, even in the Pac-12, the real last year of the Pac-12, I'll be interested to see if he can keep it up. But right now, Adam, like, if you were to tell me, like, top 6 is pretty easily, but I would throw a lot of guys in that mix, right? We had some questions about Joe Milton, and I can give the negatives about Joe Milton. It's a Tennessee offense, and it's the fact they play this kind of wide open thing. And Hendon Hooker looked really good last year, but there's some things about Joe Milton that excite me, like arm talent, elite, size, speed, the whole fucking works. Like, Joe Milton's a very exciting prospect. Michael Penix, even though that he's old. In that offense that they run at Washington, very fucking incredible what he's been able to do last year, and then starting off this year. Jordan Travis, big fucking game coming out, and he made some bonehead plays too as well. Like, he made some, like, what the fuck are you doing, like, type plays, but also when the pressure was on and they needed it, that dude just stepped up and made plays, and he made some great throws. So yeah, it's a very, very good quarterback class, but I'm not going to rule out Shedeur Sanders as being in that mix. Now, we're going to see as the rest of the year plays out, like, how this all shakes out, but it wouldn't shock me, too, like, if Shedeur moved up to that QB3 because he has an outstanding year. I see it. It's not out of the range of outcomes. Now, to pass Drake May or to pass Caleb Williams is kind of a tall task, but to be the QB3, very reasonable. But also, if we kind of find out that Shador still goes through some growing pains, right, because of the roster or whatever, and he's got to come back for another year, and we're not going to see him for a couple of years, very reasonable outcome as well. But I'm excited. I mean, you can't dismiss a guy who went out and threw for 510 yards against a team that was in the national championship last year.
No turnovers and made almost every big play at the right opportune time.
Absolutely.
And when they were down twice in a big game on the road, like with a new team, everything. And I know he knows Travis Hunter and some of the people coming over, but there's a lot to be said there. Now, to the point Mike's making, it could totally go in shambles.
How about that fucking Travis Hunter?
Listen, that
reincarnated.
That pick on the goal line.
Oh my, nasty.
I don't think people understand. For a guy playing both sides of the ball, listen, I played both sides of the ball in high school, which is nothing relative. But the fatigue level, even if you're kind of in shape, what he did in the hot Texas area is ridiculous from a stamina standpoint. And just being able to do that. Yeah. And then in moments that he always showed out and made the play, like the pick on the goal line, then also just the awareness to be able to knock the ball out at the end zone when he was behind, like the ability to do that in big time moments while playing both sides of the ball at that level. I'm going to ask you guys this actually. I know we may be totally like wrecking America's game plan, but I think it's gonna be a great show. I'm going to ask you guys this. So Chris Gamble to me is the last person that I can recall, because we started talking about Iowa. Let's talk about people that matter and teams that matter. The Ohio State Eric University. Chris Gamble, the last guy I can recall that like impactful in college on both sides of the ball, like from a very high lens. Not saying no one's ever done it, but on a big time lens. Travis Hunter, 5-star kid, goes to Jackson State, follows the Deion thing. NIL money, for those that don't know, is definitely playing a part in where he's going. But what he's doing and how good he is on both sides of the ball, let me ask you guys this. What does his NFL side look like? Is there a Shatani in the baseball realm, like where this guy is capable of doing all kinds of things on the next level, or do we think there's a specific skill set teams are going to value him at? Like, what does that look like? This guy's so good, it's ridiculous, bro.
I love you, but you just combined Shohei Ohtani's name into like
I
one.
Did. That's there's the drinking. What did I call him? Shotani.
Shohei Ohtani. I love the fact you just combined it.
That's America's game, but yeah, that's drinking. Sorry.
I think he does have that ability. The last guy I can remember doing it, but it wasn't at the scale of Chris Gamble. So shout out to Chris Gamble.
Correct.
The last like real one I can remember. But Devin Hester was kind of like this gadget player at Miami. He was a good cornerback, and then he was kind of this gadget player, and we knew how dynamic he was in the kick return game. He did the same thing in the NFL where they used him on offense there for a while. Didn't really see a whole lot on defense, but Travis Hunter, man, you're doing it at the highest fucking level, D1, and you're doing it at the rate he is. Now, the only concern I have for him is, can he keep it up? But we got to remember these kids are fucking college guys. Like, these guys go out and just are fucking animals 24/7. Like, they can go out and just run for days. I just hope he stays healthy, right? Like, the fatigue never becomes a factor. But if he can do this, not even at the clip that he did this game, but if he's like 80, 75%, 60% of what he did as far as snap count goes, holy fucking shit. Like, Shotani, that's what you wanted to say, Adam, is very well in the realm of possibility where you go, like, this is just a fucking unicorn. This is a guy who can play offense at a very high level. And then you see, no matter the fact that he was playing 110 snaps or whatever the fuck it was, like, when the game's on the line, he's making the big plays on defense as well. Like
the it factor. And then, Eric, I'm curious your thoughts here, because for me, I think one of the Gamble basically going in is like, all right, this is a corner. This guy is going to be great for us in a specific lens. The one thing I'm curious and what your take is, I would love to get other people's opinions on this other than just on the show here. But to me, the thing that's so unique about him is, like, from the standpoint of the ball skills, it's tremendously high. So if you just associate the fact that he's played the defensive side of the ball and has those ball skills are one of the things that most DBs don't have, right? Like, a lot of times they say you play defense for a specific reason, because you can't necessarily catch. You don't have the ball. The guy that has that type of ball skills, I think, is very unique and dynamic. So I'm curious your thoughts, Eric.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. He's dynamic as all hell, man. I think definitely going to be a top 5 pick when he does come out. And I think there's going to be certain teams that will consider him to play both sides of the ball. Like, you got to use that talent, and to have a guy like that, man, you got to use that talent, man. I mean, the top athletes that we've seen, Dion, Devin Hester, you guys mentioned, they both did it. Like, I don't see why not he can't do it. So there's absolutely no reason why Travis Hunter can't be doing that in the NFL as well. I agree.
We also got to remember too, like Chris Gamble, as great as like we kind of remember him.
Yeah,
as,
he didn't do shit in the NFL on offense.
Well, no, like his career high, even in college, like playing both ways on the offensive side, was 31 catches, and fucking Travis Hunter is like
he had 11 over 100 in first game.
He might break that against Nebraska this week.
Right, he fucking might get there already.
I think the only reason that everyone else was as involved is because there was a lot of times you saw like Travis Hunter was a focal point of everyone's plans, Colorado's, TCU's. So you got to throw the ball somewhere else. It's an interesting point.
Yeah. Shout out to Chris Gamble too. Like he had to play with brain doctor Craig Krenzel.
Craig Krenzel, man. Yeah.
Krenzel, yeah. Hey, those guys got me my first championship as a fan.
Let's go.
Yes, sir.
I love those guys.
We're there. So, all right. So, Eric, let me ask you. We talked a lot about college. Is there other things in the week one or like coming up in next week that you want to discuss?
I just kind of wanted to ask you guys about, obviously waivers are going to be running here tomorrow, Wednesday. When you guys did your roster cuts, did you guys notice anything, about your teams or anything like that you kind of noticed?
There was quite a bit for me, like especially with all these best balls I have. I had so many Elijah Higgins shares. I had so many Bryce Ford Wheaton shares. I had so many of these guys where it was like, well, this is easy, just done. And really, you're just trying to replace him with any body in best ball that could fucking do something. I mean, there was some of those Elijah Higgins shares that you hold on to because you're like, I want some exposure in case he actually does something somewhere. And this team isn't really a contender, but if it was any semblance of a contender, it was like, this is the easiest cut in the entire world, right? These are the deep bench guys that I just get rid of. I was really shocked, like how much Salvin Ahmed that I ended up getting that was just sitting on waivers for me. And I don't know if it's being like one of the first to the punch or what the case was, but I got a shit ton of him. And I'm kind of at the stage too, even on my contending best ball rosters. I didn't spend fab, Eric. Like I didn't spend
Say it again.
$1, right? Like,
Mike, can you talk about the strategy of why though?
Because I know how important that fab is going to be to me later in the year. Like there's some best ball rosters where I'm willing to just kind of chuck my fab away, but it's because the team is so deep. Like maybe it's the defending champion and I didn't lose a damn step from the last year. Like that kind of fab, like if I kind of want to block people and be more aggressive, I'll send it away. But if it's one of those where I'm going, I'm probably a top 3 or top 4 team. Like I'm in the playoff mix. I know that fab is going to be so damn important to me down the stretch that I don't want to waste a fucking dollar on just a pickup, because there's so many guys out there on waivers, even in these deeper leagues, where I'm like, Cordell Hodge in the best ball league. Like in a lineup league, he's worth fucking nothing. He's a roster clogger. Who gives a shit? But in a deep best ball league, I'm like, well, right now he's the wide receiver 3 of the Falcons, even though it's a low passing offense. Like if he catches one touchdown pass, he's got a chance of making this start 13 best ball lineup that I got. So those kind of guys, like I'm willing just to spend zero on, just fill my roster, get rid of the guys that I know are absolute zeros that aren't going to do anything. So that's probably the biggest waiver wire like foresight that I had, or while I was doing it, to answer your question there, Eric.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think for me, like it's especially knowing, like, all right, for me, my portfolio is largely, it's not just, it's predominantly best ball, right? And when I think about like how I want to attack things, I want to have that fab money is my hammer, right? You talk about like hammers in a shallow lineup league. Well, I think hammers in best ball go a lot of different ways. And it doesn't have to be the big hammer over the top, like you're at, Cedar Point trying to get it all the way to the top. You're at one of these things. Like you can get hammers all the way to the top in different lenses. And for me, I've always been, until it becomes a popular strategy, which I don't know that it ever will be, attacking fab and trades, attacking having fab at the end of the year, to me is better spent in leverage, it's almost like the same as draft picks, right? Because I can have an accumulation of them that mean more. I'd rather have that than blow my load right now on a specific, even if it's a hype thing, right? Like maybe I'll even hit and land somebody and flip it for a pick. But there's almost like it's almost like if you talk about what money is and what certain things you can buy that don't have monetary value. The fact that you have this amount of money, which is more than what everyone else has later in the year, amounts to something you can't really conjure up and what that value means other than I get what I want. And that's something that you can't really predict. And to the pickups, and it's like, to me, that's one of the strategies that it's going to seem like, oh, well, Adam's not doing shit on the wire. Well, if I do shit, it's probably for 0. Like that's what I'm putting in, or 1. But my point, I want to have money at the end of the year when I know it's money weeks, right?
Right. Like if you saved your money last year, let's say, and it came to, I don't remember what week it was. We'll say week 13, 14, somewhere in there.
I'll tell you what it was.
Here's Brock Purdy coming along.
I'll give you a pretty good
spent all your
example.
money on Purdy.
Oh, well, now if you did that, that's probably going to work pretty good, right?
It worked out for you. I mean, it's not going to happen all the time, but hey, it worked out for you. You got literally a starting quarterback that you bought off of waivers last year, and now he's like your quarterback 3 on your team probably.
Correct. Now, that's one of those where the long-term play is great too, at least for some people.
That's super rare. You hardly ever find, a starting quarterback on waivers that's going to start the next year like that, so.
Yeah, and I mean, like you can hit that, right? And then you can debate what his value is long term, but whatever you spent on him was worth it. Now, let's give more of a realistic and also something that's happened and I can give actionable data to scenario, right? Like last year, I'm playing Mike. All right, it's no problem. I'm ready for this, right? Let me pick up this guy named Trenton Irwin. It's not going to cost me a lot. Like that's going to be some cheap. Like let me get Trenton Irwin out here. Just a guy. It's a jag, right? For the Bengals. Holy shit balls. Like I captured nothing long term other than the most important thing long term, because when I have a spot on America's Game as a guest spot to talk about this, the monetary value again that I won in that game isn't even anything relative to this type of discussion that also goes really well with the topic we're talking about. So Trenton Irwin, like honestly though, it's not even just that. Like there's guys go back years and years, like you can see in the playoffs, if you have the hammer and you have, even if that doesn't matter what the dollar amount looks like, if you have more money by a sizable amount than everyone else does, you control the market and you can pick up, for all these guys you pick up, maybe none of them hit, but one hit of Trenton Irwin, one hit of Mike did the thing the year prior. He hit 3 weeks of just all the right guys. Like you have that for whatever it is, $10, $15, $50. You win championships sometimes that way. It's just last year I won that way,
This fucking guy, man. I remember my first beer.
Do you? Guy that starts off hey, let's talk about Iowa. He's never been here before. Yeah.
So one of the things that you guys are in leagues that have been, going 4 or 5 seasons, right?
Yeah, of course.
So, man, I had some seriously really hard time making cuts this year.
Let's talk about it. I still, Eric, there are teams that I don't have to have cut down yet. And I have, there's like 3 or 4 teams where I'm at like 4 to 6. And I'm like, I know it's nut cutting time right now. Right.
So me and Scott in our leagues, usually we do it on, I think it's like Thursday. I think we did it on this year after the NFL cut. So we had to have everything cut down by then and all that. So just going through some of my cuts, man, it was extremely hard to just cut some guys. Like I had to cut I'm sure I had to cut a Salvin Ahmed on a team just because he was one of those last guys, even though I really didn't want to cut him, but he was like my only choice. Like I had to cut a Chase Edmonds on a team. It's looking pretty decent now since he's the RB3, but I didn't want to cut him at I think he's still a decent player. But one of the things that did help me was kind of listening to the A-Warp show about these tight ends, like holding on to these Josh Wiley rookies, Will Mallory's. I can go on and on with these like back-end tight ends that just don't mean shit. Like, it just helped me in my mind, just like, these guys don't mean shit in lineup leagues, probably don't mean shit in a best ball league either, just cut them. And you just, that really helped me when I had to make like 5 or 6 cuts, just cutting those tight ends, man. And then some of those other players that I just realized in lineup and best ball is different. I think lineup, you want to keep more of those backup running backs, those Salvin Ahmeds and stuff. And in best ball, you just really can't because you got to get those receivers. So, like, I'm picking up Kadarrell Hodge. I know Koopa talked about Kadarrell Hodge the other day. Mac Hollins, if he's out there for the Falcons. If Trey Palmer was out there for the Bucks. People like that are going to play. You're going to want to have those guys on your best balls instead of these, backup running backs who are just going to get you weekly zeros and you're just kind of waiting for an injury. So
for sure, you don't want to have too many of the running backs. You can have, if you have a long bench, let's say, you can have one or two of those spot guys, but you can't afford many zeros, like rostering all of those like you could in lineup. If you did the same thing in best ball, it'd be not good. Right. It's the same thing in lineup. If you had all those receivers that you're just hoping for a week from, you're never going to start. It's not optimal in lineup too.
Right.
Well, I mean, in those lineup leagues too, like even like some of those tight ends you were talking about, Eric. Like there's so many guys that I like their profile. The Will Mallory's, the Zach Kuntz. Like I like these kind of guys, and they're not out there looking for jobs, but they're not fucking guaranteed any kind of role for at least a year, probably 2 years. I'm looking at even in those like lineup leagues, which are, 0.75 tight end premium or, start 2 tight ends where I'm going like, I just want a bunch of dudes. I'm looking at them going, why the fuck do I carry this guy? Like really, because I could probably get him back at any given time, whenever the fuck I want. And there's so many other options out there. Like we were just talking on the AMA before we came on here. Like I don't even know this dude's name. Justin Hill, Jacob Hill,
Julian Hill.
Yeah, fuck. Who cares what his name is? Like that's a dude who's actually on a roster and has.
I still can't believe it took Mike this long for the Koopa misspoke Justin Hill that he put in the chat for it to be Julian. That's so good.
Who gives a shit? But it's that kind of like, am I going to roster a Zach Kuntz just because I liked his profile and I know who the fuck he is, even though he's on a practice squad and 5th string tight end at best at this time, or 4th string, whatever you want, versus a guy who's the number 2 tight end on an offense that I really like in Miami. Like in those deep ones, shit, I can go pick this dude up for fucking free, and I know he's not a zero, like an absolute zero. Now, it remains to be seen what he actually does, and if in a couple weeks he hasn't done shit, then fuck, you're joining Zach Kuntz on the waiver wire, and I'm going to go on to the next dude. I'm going to go on to the shit. Maybe Drew Sample caught a touchdown one week, and I'm going, well, if I might have a pinch, I might have to start this dude. But best ball, it's really nut cutting. Like I can't keep those dudes. I know they're fucking zeros. It's the same for like some of these backup running backs. Like I know you guys talked about Zonovan Knight. And that's kind of one of the guys that I really liked last year, and then he did some stuff. But I don't even care if the situation's good. You're on a fucking practice squad. Like
best ball, you're getting me a 0 for sure.
Yeah, like I got to hope for a game day call-up. Like that's what I'm banking on. I can't hope for a game day call-up. I need some dude that's on a roster. And as shitty as it sounds, like I'm going to roster, Darius Davis. Like, that's probably a guy I got a fuck ton on best ball just because I'm like, he's on an active roster. He's on a good offense. He may be the wide receiver 4 or 5, but all it takes is him catching a 50-yard touchdown one time, and he's probably making my lineup.
And shit, if you get kick return and punt return yards, you get some points
even
there,
better.
too.
So I think, too, I don't want to, like, hostage this point of the topic, but I do think if we're talking about this, it's good to actually talk about the strategy behind this for – I think if you're in a lot of best ball leagues, and what that means can be whatever. But if you're in like at least more than one, like if you're in different type of best ball leagues, you're in, especially you get to 3, 5, you're probably looking at different settings, different roster lengths. So I think one of the things I want to talk about here is, all right, so if you're in a shallower one, like roster 25, okay, what that's going to mean is there is no room for error. Secret Service, consequences. Like you cannot afford anything on zeros here. Maybe one at tops because there's just nothing on the wire that week. But to the point of the discussion I want to get to, it's that week. So if you're going to have a 0, it's because there's nothing better out there. But what you cannot do is say there's dynasty value attached to this player and you hold him week in and week out. And that's a theme I want to make as it gets bigger, right? So what's going to happen, all right? Just stick with me. You get to 30, let's say now, right? You go from 25 to 30. So what's going to happen is you're going to have, especially as the league just starts, Eric's talking about 4 and 5 years, but let's say the league just started. you're going to have probably 4 or 5 spots you can't fill on waivers with anything that you give a shit about. So what are you going to do likely? You're going to say, all right, this is dynasty value I have to put here. That's the worst thing you can do because you won't cut it. You're going to say I have some sort of associated value with this. And the longer it goes, you almost want to have, if you're going to have zeros, shots that are going to make your week. And like Mike said, Darius Davis. But if he's a 0, I'm cutting him. Like almost if you're going to have those zeros, make sure it's not like I have this associated name and dynasty value that I'm just going to hold on for forever. That's just going to kill you.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, that was good discussion. Hopefully, some people picked up that Jaleel McLaughlin I told you about a month ago too. I didn't see him on any waiver wires.
Added.
Which one is better for you right now, given what's happening, McLaughlin or Aiden O'Connell? What's a bigger Eric like dub right now?
Oh, bigger win. Probably McLaughlin just because he's gonna play right away.
In best ball, he's more right. Yep.
Right. I mean, I still like Aiden, but he's going to have an injury. Brian Hoyer's going to have to fall off the face of the earth.
Which is very likely.
Yeah.
That guy's
Hoyer's not my worry. It's
no, he's not my worry. My
worry is
but
just how quickly does Jimmy G become a fraud?
Right.
I got an America's Game first here. An on-air trade for the biggest asset in Superflex Dynasty.
Okay.
All right, I got to give up.
Talking about a showstopper.
I got to give up 3 firsts, but I get Patrick Mahomes, and all 3 firsts are borderline like those mid firsts where you're like, this team could fucking be dog shit.
Except,
I mean, it's an accept, and the only caveat is if you're telling me it's more like early, they're all early, and you don't have assets. Otherwise, it's a smash.
Well, I got to give one back to like the guy who's wanting to rebuild and like get rid of Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Fine, that's fine. You want your first back? I'm getting Mahomes.
Yep.
Bye-bye. Yeah.
Done.
Yep.
Say less. Fucking hit the button. America's Game first, live on our trade.
All right.
Wait, hold on. Was that another? Mike's telling me I remember my first beer. He's asking like the simpleton questions. 3 first or Patrick Mahomes?
Listen, man, you factor in the fact that 2 of these picks could be fucking, Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. I start to shit my pants a little bit.
Drake May, Caleb Williams, and a late 24. It's Patrick Mahomes.
All right.
So stop it. Stop it. I remember my first beer.
I remember I've been drinking.
All right, Eric.
I've had to listen to your
Get
bullshit.
this back on the America's Game rails. All right, come on.
So here's the main topic of the show, 40 minutes in, that we're going to hopefully finish on quickly.
We'll finish on it. Just may not be quickly.
I did this with Scott last year. I kept record of it, so I'll keep record of this as well. So this is going to be our predictions for the year.
Okay.
Each division winner, wild card winners, championship game, Super Bowl, NFL MVP, offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, and the rookies of the year for both. So that's what we're going to do here. So AFC.
I'm not prepped for this, but I'm ready. Let's go.
Oh, yeah. I didn't prep you guys at all. I didn't tell you what the fuck we were doing.
Man, this is a off the dome deep dive. I like this.
All right. Adam, you can start first. AFC East. Who's going to be the winner of AFC East?
The winning team in the AFC East for the division, right?
Division, yep.
Okay. Let me think.
Doesn't matter seeds or anything, but they're just going to win the division.
I think Tua's going to be healthy this year. I'm going to go with Miami.
Miami. All right, Mike.
Bills. Buffalo Bills.
Bills. I'm going with the Jets.
Ooh.
Whoa, we got a three-way split.
3 different teams here, and the Patriots are left on the.
I think the Bills are the favorite, but to me, I think if Tua was to stay healthy, and like I'm a little worried about just how the Bills finish, but I'm taking Miami.
Yeah, I'm Aaron Rodgers is one of my favorite players. I'm all fucking in, man. That defense is sick. That offense should be pretty damn good. I'm all in. Give me the Jets.
It's there for a year to say that too, for sure.
Oh yeah, AFC North. Go ahead, Adam.
I mean, y'all know what the answer would be if this was my first beer, but it's not my first beer, but it's still the Cleveland Browns.
Browns, okay.
I think
Mike?
I'll say this. I think the division. Can I just say real quick? The division I think is okay. It's not the top heaviest, but I think people are, at least from what I've seen in the preseason and what I know about Tomlin, there's a lot of sleeping on the Steelers, and I don't like to say that as a Browns fan.
Yep, I agree.
But their floor is a lot higher than people want to give them credit for, given what Pickett is, what Pickens is going to become in year 2, Deontay coming off of a down season. This team's always in the mix. So you add that to the fact that you have Cincinnati and you have Lamar now paid, and you have them adding more weapons on offense and Monken. I think this, from a depth perspective, is going to be a slugfest.
Oh, yeah.
That a lot of teams are going to be in the mix in the relative late part of the season. So, like, I don't think it's crazy to say any one team particularly is going to win. What I think is going to be down to the margins in this division.
Okay. And before you go on, Mike, I just want to say quick, if the Browns do get a home game playoff, it is South Harmon Day at the Browns Stadium during the playoff.
It is.
Tickets will be bought by Adam.
There will be tickets bought. Mike will be invited. He's not required to come because, honestly, I'm not even sure he'll know what to do in a situation like this, but we're going to be there. The booth will be there. There will be tickets had, and there will be fun had. All right?
Hell yeah.
We'll have a dual stream because I'll probably be out in Philly watching the Eagles home game with Corey.
There you go.
Now, just for a second, that would be my first beer. Okay, y'all have seen this before. This would be our first thing.
As much as I want to go with the dark horse, right, and be hot takey and say the Steelers, like you mentioned, Adam, which I think have a realistic shot. It's Scott Connor and the Fighting Bengals.
Bengals. That's where I'm going to. I'm going with the Bengals as well.
I don't think that's well. You start off with I don't want to be too hot taking, then it's not hot takey at all. My question is,
a motherfucker.
I was going to say, like, to you guys, is there any concern about this Burrow thing that happened early in the preseason?
Zero.
Absolutely none. Zero.
It's not. I would say it's not a matter of like, is he long term going to be an issue, but is there a slow start? That's my question.
Nope.
Okay.
I mean, he's gotten off to slow starts in the beginning, and then he fucking finishes on fire. So I'm not worried even if he does.
Okay.
So. AFC
right.
South. This one should be pretty easy. Go ahead, Adam.
I mean, it's disgusting as all get out. Do you believe that the Titans are going to stay healthy?
That's the only other team.
Are they going to stay healthy? I mean, that's the question. So,
right.
I mean, I kind of want to, in my own heart, like say, give me one more of Vrabel. Like he can just tell himself this thing's going to go on forever. And then next year it just completely crashes. So I kind of want to see it. And I'd also love to see, for everybody that would tilt in the dynasty space, on Tannehill finishes the year as the starter when now it's Willis and Levis that don't get to play. So that's kind of what I'm rooting for. That's what I'm going to go with as a narrative. Because Mike would be really excited about seeing Levis sit for a full year too.
All right, so you're going Titans. All right, Mike, AFC South.
Just like the Joe Burrow thing, zero fucking chance. Jaguars walking away.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. Jaguars.
It's not even close. Like they're the favorite. The Titans are a long shot as hell, but I'm trying to be a little exciting. You know.
All right, AFC West. Go ahead, Adam.
I don't know at this point if this is now, if I go chalk, you guys are going to go against me, but like I'm not worried about long term this Kelce thing at all, unless it's it turns out his ACL is actually not intact and misses the whole season. Until otherwise shown, to go against Patrick Mahomes after last year, they lose Cheetah. Oh, he's not the same. He's quarterback 3 in Dynasty.
Right.
Puts up the most yards. They went like at this point, if you go against the Chiefs, like I need to examine, like we need to have an MRI. Like, do you have neurotoxicity? What is wrong with you as far as what you see? For me personally, but it's the Chiefs.
Okay, Mike.
Chargers.
Okay, I can see that.
Chargers.
I don't think that's too crazy.
This all hinges on the fact whether or not they lock up Chris Jones. If they bring Chris Jones back, going against the Chiefs is stupid. But Chris Jones is one of the best, if not the best, defensive fucking tackle in the entire National Football League. And if this drags on for a while and there's no Chris Jones, that defense is fucking atrocious. It's done.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs on this one.
All
right. AFC wild card.
I was just gonna ask on a follow up real quick, Mike, because the Chargers. Okay, so they bring back same coaching staff after like the players apparently were very on keeping that, but there's a lot of uncertainty there. My thing is, okay, for the Chargers to take a step forward, everyone can see it, but to win the division is not just the Chiefs. I think take a little bit of a step back on defense. Like this team has to put it all together. It's not that they don't have Herbert and Quentin Johnson coming over and tantalizing talent, but it seems like there's a lot to harness in on the same page on that team.
There's not. The division. There's not for me. That offense was fucking atrocious last year because their offense coordinator was fucking horrible.
Okay.
And he's been one of the most horrible offense coordinators for a while. Mm-hmm. You bring over a guy in Kellen Moore, that offense is getting right back on track. And that defense we know is good. So this is all just hinging on Chris Jones, right? Like you told me Chris Jones fucking reports tomorrow and he's playing fucking Thursday night. Boom, done. Like Chiefs walking away with it. He's not there. That defense is too bad. It's fucking god-awful. And that Chargers offense will take them to the woodshed.
I do hope that, I know that he'll never, but I hope that Patrick Mahomes hears that like he heard everything last year for motivation, just because to show Mike.
Man.
But go ahead. Anyway, let's get to the NFC, man.
AFC wild cards. Adam, pick 3.
AFC wild card. So who's playing or like who? Oh, the wild cards.
The wild cards, yeah. So the 3, 5, 6, 7 seeds.
I said the Titans to win. So I mean, it's obviously Jaguars. And if you were to go the other way, I'm saying the Titans aren't necessarily a lot to get in. Jags are in the playoffs regardless, whether they win or don't. The division. I think here's what I'm going to say though. I think that this division in the AFC North is going to put in at minimum 3 teams. So I'm putting Cleveland, Baltimore, Cincy as the other teams.
So Baltimore and
Cincinnati.
Cincy.
Yeah, those.
All right, so you have Buffalo missing the playoffs. You have the Chargers missing the playoffs.
Yeah, it's not looking good from the unprepped version here. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I would say this actually. Let's go ahead in this scenario. Let's take the Ravens have to miss. I'm going to put Buffalo ahead of the Ravens.
Okay.
And it'll be Lamar injury probably.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Mike, with your 3 wild cards.
Give me the Dolphins, Browns, and Chiefs.
Miami, Cleveland, KC. All right, I'm gonna go with Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and the Chargers. Those are gonna be my 3 that get in.
Okay.
So Adam has Miami, Cleveland, Tennessee, the Chiefs, Jags, Buffalo, Cincinnati. Mike's got the Bills, Bengals, Jags, Chargers, Miami, Cleveland, Kansas City. And I got Jets, Bengals, Jags, Chiefs, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Chargers.
Can I ask you guys this most egregious miss out of all 3 of ours? Like who's missing the playoffs? Because I think every single year, there's a team that misses the playoffs. When we look right now, we're like, there's no way. And we look back like, okay, they missed. Because there's injuries, there's underperformance. Which one to you is the one on any one of our 3s that's like, how the hell do you guys have them missing the playoffs?
The hardest one for me is I know it was bad last year, but to put the Broncos out. Like to put the Broncos out of contention. But you play in a division with the Chargers and the Chiefs. It's going to be tough sledding for you. Even though I believe in Sean Payton turning that fucking thing around.
That's a good one, Mike. But my question to you, Eric, is I don't know what you're going to say. Do we all have the Ravens out?
Yes.
That to me is let's talk about it. Lamar has a bag. Monken comes over. We all kind of say we like that, but we're all missing them the playoffs. Like that, I think at least needs the discussion.
It's super ass tough division, man. It's just the whole conference.
No, I get you. I'm not saying it's not, but I think like, could you imagine if they just paid him all that money and he plays and stays healthy and they miss?
We each have 2 North teams at least making it. So.
Right.
We each have 2 from that division making it. And yeah, none of us have
Baltimore.
Yeah.
I kind of backtracked because I realized that I can't have the Bills out. That would just be
Adam's
foolish.
The only one who has the Titans.
Yep.
I'm the only one that has the Jets and Steelers. I'm surprised none of you guys had the Jets, honestly.
I think given the division and given the AFC picture, I think there's a case to be made that blows up. Okay. Like Rodgers ends up not playing as well as we think, but I also, they could make it. I don't think it's crazy to say they miss. Okay. Given there's how many teams do you think realistically can make the playoffs in this AFC? It's a lot, man.
Yeah, it's like at least 10.
I was gonna say 10 minimum. You can probably argue 12.
12, yeah. Okay.
It's only 7. I mean, that's like half almost. All
right.
I'm not Scott Connor. I'm not a numbers guy, but
All right, let's move on to NFC East. Go ahead, Adam.
I mean, to go anything against at this point, like I'm looking to take the gloves off if I answer anything but one answer here. So
yeah, I'm not going to even ask Mike.
I'll let Mike answer for all of us.
I already
right?
know Mike's answer. I think we all got the same.
I'm gonna let Mike answer the question. Yeah.
Yeah, we
I'm
all
not
had
looking
the
for that
Eagles.
smoke just this early. Nah, I'm good.
Yeah,
But I mean, like realistically, for them to fail, like I think people have to understand when we talk about division winners, there's ranges of outcomes where like, things be different than what you might expect. For Philly to fail, like Jalen Hurts has to have a early end of the year injury, like something catastrophic. I think has to happen for this team not to be in the mix for a division winner, let alone absolutely just win it outright. They're that fucking good, man.
All right, NFC North, Adam.
Oh, y'all ready
This is
for
a
this?
tough one. Yeah, this is a
Y'all
tough
ready
one.
for this? Mike's
Sure.
favorite. I like Detroit Lions.
Detroit. Okay. Mike.
Detroit Lions, baby.
Detroit. Okay.
Damn it.
Man.
You going Jordan Addison? Don't do it.
No, it's not the Vikings. I think I'm going to go Detroit too. It's the only one that I really honestly trust. So I think I'm going to go Detroit as well.
The
Plus,
Jameer Gibbs show.
I have a absolute fuck ton of Detroit players in redraft leagues, so I need them to do good.
Do you really?
Oh yeah,
Are you talking Amon-Ra? Like,
I
who
got
you
a
got?
boatload of Amon-Ra, a boatload of Montgomery,
Okay.
a couple Gibbs. So yeah, for sure.
All right, fair enough. That's cool.
NFC South. This one's like literally close your eyes.
This
and
is
pick
the
one.
grossest. Like, this is one of those where, like, every year people are like, oh, we need to realign divisions. Now, I think it's stupid to even talk about it, but every year there's one division where, like, why do they have a winner that makes the playoffs?
This is.
I'm gonna say that the Saints are gonna win, but like, there's also the realm of that team finally implodes. But
right.
I don't believe in any other teams in the division at all. I don't believe in the Saints either. But
Right. Okay. Go ahead, Mike.
I'm gonna go with the Atlanta Falcons.
Falcons.
no.
Okay.
Do you think Ritter has a good year? Like, or is this just attrition? The whole thing sucks.
I think the division's so fucking shitty, and he just has a serviceable year. That's all.
That's fair. That's fair.
I think I'm gonna ride with Adam on this one. I think I'm gonna go with the Saints just because they have a lot of veterans, guys that have done it. You know, that's probably the best quarterback in the division.
Yep.
So I think
They got a young guy in Olave. Mike Sky Kamara only missing 3 games. Like, that's a dub for them. There's a lot of reasons to believe that.
NFC West, Adam, go ahead.
Man, this division's so tough. I don't know to believe or not at all in Seattle. The Rams to me are just atrocious. Arizona's trying to tank.
Yep.
So, like, do you believe? Now here's the question from Mike, because I won't be the first to answer this. Mike, with Purdy, can San Francisco win this division, or is it Seattle? Okay, I knew he would.
Okay.
Well, I set it up for him to just because he hates Geno too. It's just there's less reverence in how much he hates him.
What about you, Adam?
I personally think that here's the thing. We know San Francisco has a good enough system to win a division with a quarterback that's going to game manage. I think that's what they're going to do with Brock Purdy. I think they win the division. Now, I think one of the problems in what they did with this move, I don't think their ceiling to win it all, which is the reason they were wanting to move off of Jimmy G, changes. So I think they'll win the division, but I think what their ceiling is with Purdy is not really any different than what they started with, and they just burn capital to get back to a similar situation.
All right. Mike said Seattle. I'm going with you, Mike. Seattle. I'm taking Seattle to win the West. Wild cards, Adam. Who's your 3 wild cards?
All right. So Seattle obviously has to be in there.
Okay.
I will say, though, just let me ask you this before I give the rest. Seattle, like Geno Smith, was such a enigma last year. And now you guys are so confidently this team is winning the division. Like, no hesitation. Like, are we sold on Geno Smith? Like, what is it? What I need to ask y'all on point blank, Mike specifically, like Geno for Cooper.
Brock Purdy sucks, and Nick Bosa is not signed.
Okay.
Eric, is that what your take is too, or I'm talking about Geno Smith, but we're talking about the Niners.
I am going to save my take for later in the show.
All right, cool. All right, so who'd I put? Oh,
you have Seattle, so you need 2 more.
All right, so I think Dallas will make the playoffs again, as much as I don't want them to. Need 1 more, right?
Yep, 1 more.
I think the Vikings will make it again.
Minnesota. Okay. All right, Mike.
Give me San Francisco, so we get the glaring obvious one out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna go with Dallas, and New York.
New York Giants.
Giants.
And
see
I
them
actually
but
have
I don't mind that one.
I have the same exact as Mike. San Fran, Dallas, New York Giants.
So let me is it Kirk Cousins that implodes? Is it just this team misses by a small margin? What happens with the Vikings?
That defense is fucking poopy.
Bingo.
Is it not? Was
Giants
it great? Was it great last year?
It was a little bit better than it is now. Like I
agreed. Does Addison not help the offense? I think they're just.
I mean, they have to put up like 30 a game, and I don't know.
Okay, fair enough.
If they're going to be able to do that.
And the margins of making
the Giants are a more complete team, defensively, offensively, all that. So that's where I'm going with it.
Got it.
All right, AFC Championship game. Who are the final two for you, Adam?
Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
And the Cleveland Browns.
Chiefs versus Browns. Definitely his first beer. All right, go ahead, Mike.
Give me the Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
Versus the Cincinnati Bengals.
Bills versus Bengals. Okay, that'd be a good game.
Get them out of here.
I am going to go with the Bengals as well.
Eric, I thought you were from Cleveland.
Taking on Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets.
Oh, there it is. We got the same divisions matchup, just different
teams. I hope you're listening to this on podcast so you can't see the openness of...
NFC Championship game, Adam.
I think Philly's back. It's going to be hard for that not to be the case. I think they play San Francisco.
Eagles versus San Fran. All right. Mike?
Eagles versus the Seattle Seahawks.
Now, Mike's leaning to Geno's now to the moon. But let me ask you, if there is... Because I know Mike's answer, but Eric, this is your show. This is my question to you. In a rematch game, if Brock Purdy's healthy and this team's what it was similar to last year, let's assume Bosa's there. Assume, by the way, it's not official because Mike made it very clear. Is this a game or is this a blowout again?
I think it's a game.
America's game. I like it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
It's a fucking blowout.
All right, so what do we have other questions to answer?
My NFC Championship game is the same as Mike's, Eagles versus Seattle.
Okay, now your take has to come in here because Geno Smith in the NFC title game.
Yep. We can wait here.
Mike's muted. Mike's muted.
We can wait one more round. I got a feeling.
Adam, go ahead. Who is your Super Bowl and who's your Super Bowl winner?
So this year I have the Chiefs versus the Niners, and the Chiefs win again.
Chiefs versus Niners, Chiefs win again. All right. Mike, go ahead.
Buffalo Bills versus the Seattle Seahawks.
Wow. Okay.
Buffalo Bills win.
Buffalo Bills win.
Why is Koopa not here?
I have the New York Jets versus the Seattle Seahawks.
Son of a bitch. I knew it.
Hold on a second. I was the person that was crazy by having the Browns in the AFC title game. The Jets and the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. America needs to hear this.
Seattle Seahawks are your 2023 Super Bowl champions.
Okay.
All right. Now we have to pause the Seattle moment because, there's a lot to be said about Geno having a good year, them having weapons. Geno Smith leading the charge of a Super Bowl trophy with a non-Legion of Boom defense.
Oh, the defense is really good. It is very underrated.
Okay, it's underrated. It is not a holy shit, this defense is going to ride them to a title. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not saying they're bad.
Did you see that coming with the Seahawks when they first came around? That first year they beat Tom Brady in Seattle, and Sherman's talking shit to him.
I'm not saying the defense can't be good this year. My point is, this is not a oh my god, this defense right now is guaranteed to be number one by all the.
No, I don't think so, but I guarantee they're probably top 5.
Okay, so but my question to you, I'm just trying to give you the floor to talk about it. The defense is obviously really good, but you're saying Geno in this offense takes a step forward to a degree where Geno is leading a team to win the Super Bowl. So just how does this happen for you?
Absolutely. I think they have one of the best offensive lines in the league. they have a two-headed monster running the ball. I think Ken Walker and Charbonnet are going to be really good tandem together. I think Ken Walker, I know he's like a little boomer bust, but man, when he's going, man, he could be the top back in the league. And then you got those 3 wide receivers. You got Lockett, DK, and JSN. They're going to make some moves. Fant's a solid tight end. They literally have everything on offense. And one of the things that I just captured just on this team, one of the things I like doing is I like watching the YouTube documentary series that they have on all these teams sometimes. Some teams don't have them, but that Seattle team is just, they are a fucking team. They're on a fucking mission. They're ready to kick some ass this year. I don't know. Ever since I watched them and just kind of seen their demeanor, the way that they are as a team and a brotherhood. Bobby Wagner's back again. Like, I don't know, this team's ready to fucking rock and roll. So I'm going with Seattle this year. And I've said it for like 2 or 3 weeks. So this is not like a, off the cuff kind of thing.
This is like when Mike says Gibson for a first last year. You can say it all summer, but it's a hot take for people. So
it's hot for sure. Both of my Super Bowl picks are hot takes. Jets and Seattle. No one's got that.
I agreed. Mike, what are your thoughts?
So I'm going with a shout out to Chosen and Feral Analytics. This is what their AI model predicted: Bills versus Seattle here. And something he pointed out to me, and it does check out completely. Since 2002, so we're talking 21 years, and this will be number 2022 here. Since 2002, every time an NFC East team makes the Super Bowl, the following year it is always has been an NFC West team. Every single year. So I'm going with the NFC West. Lines up, you get the data, you get the whole correlation between the two, Seattle Seahawks, and this is all because I really don't believe in Brock Purdy. I don't believe in a 49ers defense without Nick Bosa.
Yeah, that was another thing I liked Seattle too, is I think they're going to be able to beat San Fran, and they might split, but I bet you they can beat them once in the
when it counts.
in the regular season, and maybe if they play in the playoffs, I could see Seattle getting on them too, especially having the home game. So yeah, I mean, playing at home in the playoffs for Seattle, I'm thinking with that division, they got 4 easy wins for sure. So that's 4 wins there on top of, I think they're going to be a really good team this year. They should be, I don't want to say they're going to be the 1 seed, but I think 2 or 3 is definitely an impossibility. So
I'm with you. Let's go, man. 2
Seahawks. All right, so I want to say, if we're going to go history lessons, and I'm gonna give you guys passes on whatever everybody said as far as their citing for this, but it's fun. Okay, so let's do this. But I think one thing that we have not addressed that I've asked point blank, and it's kind of like with Brock Purdy, like we need to talk about the last time a team really had a quarterback that took a leap from what we believe Geno is. Mm-hmm. And he took a leap last year from nothingness.
Yep.
To win a Super Bowl. Joe Flacco. And that, to the point I'm making about you with the defense, where I'm asking, like, nobody believes Joe Flacco was elite. It's part of the reason that the question exists and the whole statement's there. That's 10 years ago now. Outside of that, you look, and the winner was a quarterback that's not just... Like, it's nothing like Geno Smith is. So my question to you is, even if this team's good, I agree, by the way, the offensive line's very good. There's 2 running backs, so they have depth there. They have JSN added to a good receiving corps. They have defensive talent. I believe that there's either a quarterback that's paid an elite that's just different, or there's one thing Geno does have, though, is he's not paid very highly, but there's a quarterback cheat code. So my question to you is he actually ready to lead a team to actually win a title? Because them making the playoffs and winning a game or two is a lot different than a 2-week bye and on the Super Bowl, him performing high enough to win. That's my thing, is more Geno Smith analogy. Like, do you think he can actually lead a team to win a title?
Absolutely. That's why I picked him there.
I don't think the bar is very high to lead a team to title either.
I mean, is he going to be Patrick Mahomes carrying the team on his fucking back? No. I'm not that stupid. But I think he can play in the system like he did last year. He was super efficient. If he continues to be efficient, be the point guard and distribute the ball to JSN and DK and Lockett like he has, and he's got these 2 horses for running backs behind him. If those guys turning up yards, I think absolutely Geno, just as long as he plays efficiently like he did last year, I think he can get better than he did last year as well. So,
Mike, do you agree with that statement? Because I'm glad you said it that way.
That's all he's got to do.
Yep.
So
Just
I
not
now have to remove names, which is what we talk about all the time on this show, not a Silly America's Game, but in the South Harmon Network on 4D. Remove the names because everything he just said is exactly what Brock Purdy has to do, and Mike will not relent on Brock Purdy. So I'm just asking
because he's
the
fucking
question.
horrible.
But the question is seriously, like if we're going to say Geno Smith can make this leap because it's going to be the rest of the team, all Brock Purdy has to do is be a point guard and let the team win. So why is it so much hate on Brock Purdy then?
Because he can't do that.
He can't point guard?
No.
Okay.
I don't hate Purdy like Mike does.
I know, but I just wanted to make a distinction for the show here.
Right.
That says
I think
all he has to do is the simple, efficient things, which is not asking a lot for him.
That's not in his DNA. Watch his
I think
fucking
there's
game from
going
last
to
year.
there's going to be a
Yeah, I mean, you can have your answer. I'm just making the distinction. Like to me, it's the same recipe. It's just he has to point guard. But go ahead, Eric.
Their teams have had the whole offseason to look at Purdy's games, so they're going to have a game plan and a way to attack him this year. So that's kind of where I'm thinking. All right, San Francisco, they might make the playoffs, but they're going to be like 11-6, something like that. And, you know, this is a team that always gets fucking injured a shit ton too.
True.
So that's kind of where I'm going. I think Seattle wins the division just based off of San Francisco. Maybe, Purdy gets hurt, Darnold's got to come in or whatever,
That could happen too, for
just
sure.
stuff like that.
By week 6, fucking Sam Darnold's starting.
You could.
No, it's not
Crazier
it's not crazy.
things have happened.
It's not
That's-
crazy to say that a single player gets hurt. So anyway,
I mean, we've watched Trace McSorley start a fucking game in the league. Like, who would ever thought that would have happened?
David Blau.
Yeah.
Multiple games.
like Eric mentioned. I mean, how many games has Hoyer played and started?
Too many.
Right. He was a fucking starter for the Browns. I had to actually watch that shit every Sunday.
I watched him do a dance with the whole team because they actually
He
won a
made
game.
Josh Gordon a god one year.
There you go. But anyway, yeah. So I thought it was good. What else you got? Come on.
We got 5 more real quick. NFL MVP. We'll knock these out and get out of here. Who's your NFL MVP, Adam?
This is going to be tough with them not winning the division for me, but I think that Herbert's going to lead the league in passing and touchdowns, so I'm going to go with Herbert.
You don't even have him in the playoffs.
I know. That's why I said, like, again, this is this is kind of like if you have a meeting and you don't get the agenda beforehand.
I thought you were going to tell me Geno Smith, and I was going to reach across the computer and smack you.
Well, I should, but I project Herbert to have like a great statistical year. So MVP is probably given what I had them missing the playoffs, it's probably not going to happen. But because it's also team wins, but right. I think Herbert being healthy, regardless of what their wins are going to be, is going to just smash stats.
I got Herbert in 2 redraft leagues, so give me that all day. Go ahead, Mike.
Jalen Hurts. Should have done it last year. Does it this year.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that one too. Jalen Hurts. Offensive player of the year. So that's usually your running back or your receiver. Go ahead, Adam.
Oh man, this is so tough because there's there's handfuls of guys that you could pick for this. I'm gonna go if Jalen Hurts for you guys is both gonna be the MVP. I'm gonna say that there's a lot of like DeVonta Smith love, and I think that this guy AJ Brown didn't finish the season off strong, but if he stays a little more healthy all year, I think he was on pace last year to smash everybody. I think AJ Brown could be the guy.
AJ Brown, okay. Go ahead, Mike.
Is it one conference or just?
Yeah, it's the whole NFL.
Whole NFL.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Tyreek Hill.
Offensive
Hill,
MVP.
okay.
Very, very, very likely, or well, reasonable. Not likely, reasonable.
I am going to go with Jamar Chase. I think this is going to be the Jamar Chase year.
The big breakout.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. All right, defensive player of the year. Any conference. Go ahead, Adam.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think that I want to say Myles Garrett. I just don't think he does. I don't think he has that Next
got him
level
winning
killer.
going into the AFC Championship
I know,
game,
but
so he
we're
could be a
talking about
big reason.
defensive player of the year. I think he
Yep.
should be, but I'm going to go with a guy that's going to end up playing in San Francisco, and there's a reason that Mike has him losing. I think Bosa could, if he stays healthy, could absolutely win it.
All right, go ahead, Mike.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with Michael Parsons. I think this is the year that he gets.
That's a good one.
I think that's very. It's a nice one. Nice call.
Yep. I am going to go with TJ Watt. That dude is just an absolute animal when he's healthy. I think he finally stays healthy.
I think Bosa and Watt both. Like if you tell me they play the whole time, they're happy, they're healthy.
Yeah.
Imagine what stat lines could look like for either one of those guys, and they could both very well be in the mix.
Yeah, I mean, we missed definitely some stud players, but yeah, I mean, that's three of them.
You had the Steelers winning who had the Steelers winning the division, or was
nobody?
Talking about
I was.
Mike said thinking about it. Someone was flirting with it, right?
I think it was
Eric's
you.
got him in the wild card.
I got him as a wild card.
Okay, so if that's the case, like TJ Watt being healthy and having that type of a year would make sense, right?
Oh yeah, yep. All right, NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year for you, Adam.
I mean, it's so hard not to say Bijan Robinson.
Right.
Like, I want to say other people, but I just can't do it. It's just no way I can say that.
All right, Mike.
Jameer Gibbs.
Jameer Gibbs. Okay, I can
He's
see
not
that
going to
too.
be impactful.
I'm gonna go Bijan too. That's kind of like almost chalk. It's either him or Gibbs probably. All right, and then interesting one.
Real quick, is there a dark horse? If let's say Gibbs, by the way, is what we think is more a little bit not getting all the touches. Is there anyone that can be in the realm of conversation? I'm not saying they'll win.
Aiden O'Connell.
Damn it, Eric. All right, whatever. Not a serious combo. Go ahead.
No. I could see like if the Seattle is going to be as good as I think they are, I definitely could see JSN having a big year. I really like Zay Flowers. Like I think he's the number one for Baltimore.
Okay.
So I could see, especially if Andrews keeps getting banged up. He's already banged up already. So I could see Zay Flowers. Addison, like if you look at the numbers that the most routes run last year was Jefferson. Second was Adam Thielen.
Right.
So Jordan Addison could definitely be one of those guys. So I think any of those receivers too.
Can I give you an absolute dark horse that probably is like less than 1% chance of happening, but by attrition to the division, and Mike says doesn't want to leave him out of the wild card race.
Okay.
There's nothing in receiving game for Denver. And if Russell Wilson is a bounce back year, Marvin Mims to be in the mix is not crazy to say.
Okay. I can get behind that.
It's a dark horse. It's not likely, by the way. I understand that. But.
I get it. All right. Defensive Rookie of the Year for you, Adam.
Man. I know this is probably not because the team is so good, but I want to say Jalen Carter, but I know that's just.
It's a good one.
I think it's not the chalkiest bet, but I think he's so good and so impactful that I wouldn't be surprised to see it.
All right, go ahead, Mike.
I'm going super chalk here. Will Anderson.
I mean, that's the chalk one, but I already went Bijan. I don't want to be too chalky,
I'm going Will
The thrill.
McDonald
Let's
from
go.
the New York fucking Jets, baby.
Oh my gosh.
I just think he's a good pass rusher, man. I think he can he can maybe just be that situational pass rusher the Jets need. I got them going to Super Bowl, so he's gonna have to be a big part. So I think Quinnen Williams is a dark horse for defensive player of the year too.
I got it. I got a dark horse for me too. Like if we're gonna throw out dark horses here,
Yeah,
Nolan
do it.
Smith, like Michael Parsons.
I like
light for
that.
the Eagles
I like
defense.
that.
Is it bad that I thought Mike was gonna drop a Riley Moss on me?
No.
No, but I mean that's part of the thing with like Philly's defense. Like example, like Jalen Carter. Like I think he's going to be phenomenal as a player, but like is his stats going to be impactful in this conversation? That's part of why it's hard to really say.
And honestly, one that Mike could have took was Jack Campbell too.
Jack Campbell's going to put up a fuck ton of tackles.
Yeah,
boy.
and he can easily be one too. But I'm going with McDonald for his sacks.
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
So.
I agree.
All right, so we got
Will Anderson. Like it feels like if he just plays the whole time, given the type of games they're going to be playing, possibly down, like I could see him just absolutely destroying everyone in the field if he's healthy.
All right, you guys ready for America's favorite game? Then we'll get out.
Hit it.
Yes, sir. Hit it.
What is your favorite NFL opening weekend memory?
Oh man, dude, this is a terrible question because I have so many good ones. Can someone else go first? I'm trying to. I got to pick between like 5 right now.
I'm trying to think of mine too. I have one.
I got one.
Mike's
but I can't
typing. So is he pulling up
Well, no,
Is he pulling up like Google?
I got one, but I can't remember if it was the first game of the year or not. Like, it feels like it, and you guys can help me. The Eagles Redskins Monday night game where Michael Vick just fucking torched the shit out of them.
Yeah, I don't think
this is
that
so
was,
funny because this is going to be what
was
mine was.
game.
Damn, that sucks.
Damn,
I don't think that was the opening game. I don't
think it was either.
I think mine was, and it's just a weird story. But remember when I don't remember if it was Peyton's first game with Denver against Baltimore. It was the year Baltimore won the Super Bowl, and then the next year they had the opening game, and it was against Denver, and it was Peyton and them. And Peyton, it was threw for 6 or 7 fucking touchdowns against them. Like Julius Thomas had 2, Welker had 2, Demaryius Thomas had 1, and I went up against the fucker who had him in fantasy, and I still beat that fucker. He had Peyton Manning, he had Wes Welker, he had Julius Thomas, he had 6 touchdowns. I was down like 130 points to like
oh my goodness
30 after the one night, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna lose, and I came back and beat that guy somehow, some way. But that's probably one of my favorite memories. Another one, you might remember this, Adam. It was when Brandon Weeden was the quarterback.
I remember that part.
And they're doing the national anthem, and he's like practicing his throws and shit right there by the sideline, and they bring the American flag out. They put it over top of him, and he got stuck under it.
Yeah, you was told. Yes, I definitely do. Yeah. Oh man.
I got one. Yeah, the Eagles Redskins game was in fucking November, so I was way off. Right, okay. That was the Donovan McNabb had given like you got a new contract and then got fucking waxed.
Right. I remember Vic came in the opening game. I think that was when Kevin Cobb got hurt against Green Bay. Clay Matthews fucking drilled him, and then Vic came in.
I got one for you. My favorite one that I can actually know was an actual opening game. I'm not picking November. Cam Newton's debut, 422 fucking yards, 3 tutties, right? For a guy that they said,
bro, I was in
Newton
6 leagues,
the fucking Heisman,
and I had him in every league, bro. That year, 6 leagues, I had him every year, every league.
Cam Newton,
he killed it. Beast. Good call.
Yep. All right, Adam, what do you got for us?
All right, so can we get? I'll give you a little more of a PG and then more of a like insider one. So. Both of these are going to be like in-person things, right? So back in the day, it's 2012, and it's coming off of Mike's favorite, probably, the Dream Team. Dream Team, Vince Young, these great Philadelphia Eagles that announced themselves awesome, that missed the playoffs. Now I'm the awesome, all that. So 2012, pregame, and like I'm talking about early, 6 a.m., like the sun is just get up. We're at the Muni. We're at all the different spots, like ready for this. And we're winning. All to watch like an ugly football game, but you're just happy the Browns are winning. All to see Michael Vick end up leading the charge and classfully lose to Michael Vick and at home. And you're leaving just excited, and then all of a sudden it's like flaccid.
God, there's so many.
It was such a good vibe and such a great opportunity that the Browns obviously pissed away. It's a staple in my memories of fanhood. Like we have a chance and we don't ever really. Like it's all wishful.
I want to say it was Adrian Peterson's first NFL game was against the Browns in Cleveland. And he ran the fuck over us.
Destroyed us.
Because I wanted Adrian Peterson so bad to the Browns, even though Joe Thomas turned out to be a Hall of Famer, amazing player, but I still wanted Peterson so bad. And I remember, too, I think it was the year after the Derek Anderson year when, Braylon went crazy, Kellen Winslow went crazy, all that. Mm-hmm. And then we played Dallas the opening day, and they fucking waxed us. Fucking first game, man. Steelers waxed us one year, that Charlie Fry year, where I think we lost like 43-0. They pulled Charlie Fry like in the first half. Oh, yeah, there's so many bad Browns memories.
So bad. So, all right, so then 2013. So this is all right. This one's a little more like in touch. So 2013, right? The next year, we play Miami. Now on the field, we're actually winning at halftime. An ugly game, and they kind of just opened the floodgates. It was 23-10 finish. So pregame, afterwards, we're at the bars around West 6 and all that. And we're out and we're at Barley House, which is one of the big bars there. And all of a sudden the Browns come in. And bro, like literally you could smell out of this hookah that it wasn't hookah. And you got guys that have track records for smoking. And you're just like, this is everything about my Cleveland Browns that I know and love. So I don't know. There was a lot of things in that era that were sketchy, but man, they started. I remember that 2012 and 2013, just like 2012 especially, they were like 5 losses in a row, and 2013 it was. Yeah, Josh Gordon had that crazy year, right? Like he had an unbelievable season, but like it was just so not a good team. So, fun memories with opening week, but I'm looking for the Browns to actually win some games in opening week one of these years.
Yeah,
that's 10 years ago now, by the way.
Yeah, they've lost so many on opening. Oh God.
Yeah.
Bad memories. All right. Anyways, thanks guys for joining me for the prediction show. A lot of fun. I'll keep track of these. Bring you guys on at the end of the year, and we'll talk about them and see how bad we did. Yeah.
Now, one last thing is like I'm sure I'm going to miss one of them, but I'm hedging, right? I have Herbert winning MVP and then missing the playoffs, so hopefully one of them wins. I don't know. We'll see.
There you go. We'll see. All right. Well, make sure you guys follow me on Twitter at Eric Vanek NFL. You can follow the show at America's Game Pod, and breaking news at South Harmon FF. South Harmon has their own Twitter now, so make sure you guys go over to South Harmon FF. Make sure you guys hop on that. Follow them on Twitter as well, where we'll be posting all our shows, all our content. Another little breaking news, I guess. Monday for your Tuesday morning listening pleasure, I'll be doing a quick little waiver wire show for redraft and deep dynasty stuff, so I'll give you both. Looking forward to doing that for you guys as well, so be on the lookout for that. Your floor is yours, guys. Anything you guys want to say?
No, man, that's it. This is your show. Good exit. Great show. Looking forward to the Monday show, and check out South Harmon FF.
Sunday morning.
Start sit, baby.
Start sit is back.
Start sit is fucking back.
We're
fucking back.
We're back, baby. We're back, and we never left. So yeah, make sure you check that out Thursday. Actually, on the South Harmon thing, I'll say real quick. So Thursday you have the games, right? But then we're gonna have a full slate Sunday. So Sunday we're gonna have short patron show. Then we have the start sit. The gang is back together. Eric, as always, you're welcome to come or not come, but Sunday recap, man. We got the Sunday recap in between the 4 and the Sunday evening game. So for your content needs and your team needs and your lineup needs, South Harmon FF the place to be, man.
Yep, we got you for sure. I'm looking forward to the Sunday mornings. We had such a blast doing that last year.
It's gonna be awesome, bro. Getting it back together. Yes, sir.
I'm looking forward to the very first one when we were like, nah, fucking bench this scrub. This guy's dog shit. And then within the first 30 seconds of NFL Red Zone that I'm watching, scores a touchdown.
Yeah, always. Fucking 3,000 DeAndre Swift questions. I'm ready for that again.
Yeah.
Fucking Tom
I'm ready for
Kennedy.
the Gibson questions to come back from Mike.
Gibson,
yeah. Be fun, man.
All right, looking forward to seeing you guys live Sunday morning. So we'll see you Sunday morning. See ya.
See ya.
Peace.